Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Live from the den. Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody that stayed with us, that's listening to us tonight. Thank you to everybody that's listening to us on TuneIn. Thank you to everybody that's checked into the website, www.legacyinternetradio. And special thanks to the folks that are listening to the replay right now on YouTube. It's because of you guys. That's why we continue to do this. All shows are sponsored by Live Action Captions and Free Spirit Enterprises. Check out our promos as we tell you a little bit more about them as we progress throughout the show. One of the things that I wanted to definitely make sure that we talked about is the Confederate flag. But before I get to that, there's a comic named Larry Wilmore. Larry Wilmore did a segment on his show where he actually talked about the way that the media has portrayed this Dylan Roth thing, and particular some of the lunacy that you hear coming out of the folks on Fox News. And it's very, very funny, but it's some real shit, because the truth is, a lot of times, like Malcolm X said, you can't give folks too much truth at one time, and sometimes you gotta kind of mask it in humor. So take a few minutes, listen to Larry Wilmore, and then we're gonna come back and talk about him as well as the Confederate flag. And you know how Steppin Marcus J. Take a listen.
Welcome to the Nightly Show. I'm Larry Wilmore. This is a different kind of day. I just want to say our hearts go out to everybody in Charleston, South Carolina right now. This was a horrible story. And for those of you who aren't up to speed, here's basically what happened.
9 people killed in an unthinkable crime in Charleston, South Carolina.
Before Roof opened fire, he told his intended victims, "I want to shoot black people."
He said, you rape our women, and you're taking over our country, and you have to go.
Now, I have to tell you guys, we weren't going to talk much about this at all. I mean, seriously, we're a comedy show, right? I mean, what we built here isn't really designed to handle this kind of tragedy. And let me just say, I know we talk about race a lot on the show, but I think we can all agree this time that this is a racially motivated attack. You know, I think it's, but also, it couldn't be clearer when it comes out of the killer's mouth, right? But even with all of that evidence, and on a day like today, Fox News just makes my head explode.
Well, last night's deadly attack taking place at a historic church in South Carolina. The gunman's horrifying attack on faith.
The question is, was it a crime out of race or religion?
They could be calling it a hate crime because it happened in a religious institution.
So if we're not safe in our own churches, then where are we safe?
And although it's being investigated as a hate crime, there's still some pieces we have to put together.
Some look at it as, well, it's because it was a white guy, apparently, and a black church. But you made a great point just a moment ago about the hostility toward Christians. And it was a church.
Okay. All right. I know you guys don't want to admit that racial stuff isn't going on. But how can there be any doubt when it came out of the gunman's mouth? Let me remind you what he said.
"I want to shoot black people."
He told his victims, "I want to shoot black people." I think when he says black people, he means black people and not Christians. I'm just saying. And remember this part.
He said, you rape our women, and you're taking over our country, and you have to go.
He is being very clear. Nobody thinks Christians are going around raping everybody and taking over the country. All right? That's not a thing, unless you're a Duggar. All right? Then it's a thing. Then it's a thing. Then it's a thing. Okay, and then Fox News sends out a black preacher, like his black is going to confuse me. Right? Black don't distract, by the way, right? It don't. Black don't distract, man. But nice try anyway, Fox.
Yeah, I'm deeply concerned that this gunman chose to go into a church because there does seem to be a rising hostility against Christians across this country because of our biblical views.
No, 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 no. It is not rising hostility against Christians. It's rising forceful and pervasive hostility against black people who were meeting in a church. All right? But let's hear more from the Fox brother.
Most people jump to conclusions about race. I long for the day when we stop doing that in our country. But we don't know why he went into a church, but he didn't choose a bar. He didn't choose a basketball court.
Didn't choose a basketball court? Man? Oh, you mean typically black areas like basketball courts? Why didn't he choose a recording studio? I mean, he could have gone to a chitlins farm. I mean, breakdancing class, roller rinks. Why wasn't he at a watermelon stand? Why didn't he go there? I mean, he could have. And the literary center, he could have been there. Look, if he wanted to target a high concentration of black people, why didn't he choose any prison in the United States? Why didn't he do that? Huh? Yeah. And it wasn't just Fox News. Even GOP presidential candidate Rick Santorum couldn't wait to jump on this bandwagon to wrong town.
We're now seeing assault on religious liberty that we've never seen before. It's obviously a crime of hate. Again, we don't know the rationale, but I don't know what other rationale could there be?
Yeah, what other rationale could there be? I mean, for people who live in cut and dry, black and white worlds, it's amazing how social conservatives like Rick Santorum just stretch and bend and contort to make sure they never have to confront race, right? Yeah. I know, because, look, I know because this was in a church that it's hard to understand this was about race, but let me give you an example. 4 black girls were murdered in a church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama in 1963, all right? Back then, no one pretended to wonder what the motivation was. If you tried to say it was about religion, even the perpetrators back then would have corrected you. All right? No, we killed them because they're niggers. Yep. That's why we did it. All right, one last thing about this church is that it has proven itself resilient for nearly 2 centuries. The Mother Emanuel Church first opened its doors in 1816. 6 years later, it was burned to the ground. And 12 years after that, all black churches in the South Carolina were outlawed, forcing Mother Emanuel to hold their services in secret. Also around that time, racists killed one of the church's co-founders for planning a slave revolt. And nearly 200 years later, last night, Mother Emanuel's senior pastor, Clemente Pinckney, was added to the list of church leaders taken from the congregation. And though this is devastating to the church today, it's comforting to know that Mother Emanuel can and will go on. We'll be right back.
Oh, all right, thank you, Marcus, for throwing it to me first. I mean, I think the host, what's his name, Larry
Wilmore.
Like, yeah, I think he's more mad that he's even got to speak to the, even bring up the obvious. Like, sometimes we can be a little elitist, and that goes for black, white, doesn't matter. When you're just intelligent, and it's not elitism that makes that gives you the ability to differentiate from BS, And so I think in this satire that he's doing is, I mean, he's just pointing out the obvious to most people, and I don't understand why Fox, all that type of media are what we were speaking about earlier, the biggest perpetrators of why Caucasians cannot have a conversation about race in America. It's because they get sheltered and get protected by the culture, by media, by the Confederate battle flag and all of this other stuff, man. It's just,
Grizzy, I got to jump in on you that one, cuz I got to, Fox played that just plain stupid. Let's be real. This is one of, anybody ever seen that Captain Obvious commercial where Doobie walking around looking like, he Captain Obvious? You seen that?
Is that the DirecTV joint?
Yeah, whatever one.
Yeah.
I mean, but he just,
yeah, I know you're
Captain
talking about.
Obvious. It's obvious. Number one, what they were trying to do is sit there and downplay the fact that they're trying to get dude off before he even gets to court. I mean, like I said, criminal justice dude, this is me. Former law enforcement, this is what I did. They are sitting there putting a shroud over the fact that
he's nuts.
He was nuts.
He's
this
a religious fanatic.
This dude ain't crazy. He was smart enough to know about what he was doing. He put himself in a position, and Fox News is sitting there defending him in open public court right now. Fox is giving him and out.
Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. Caller. We know you there. Sit tight for a minute, Diva.
He pretty much plotted and planned, they said, for 6 months. So, and the roommate knew, and other people, friends knew that he was going to do that. So it was definitely not an erratic type of decision that he made. He did that plan.
Knowing what he was doing. Caller,
yes.
I know you're there. Let me make this point, caller, then I'll bring you in. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. One piece that I want to add to this is the judge that has been assigned to the case, Charleston County Magistrate James Gosnell Jr. Has said from the bench when they had the arraignment last week that there needs to be some sympathy and mercy shown towards the family of the shooter. Which of course outraged many because he's saying that the judge who was presiding over the arraignment said that there needs to be sympathy for the family because of the shooter, because they're going through it just like the victim's family. This is the same judge who was reprimanded in November 2003 for using the N-word from the bench, saying, quote, "There are 4 kids of people in this world, black people, white people, rednecks, and N-words," that he said at the time from the bench. And so before you call me a race baiter, which we're going to come back to that in a second, check people like Judge Gosnell. Caller, we hear you on the line. Caller, what's your name? What you want to get in on?
Oh, yeah, this is the return call.
Oh, KW back. Oh,
hey, listen, check it. In regards to that whole, I hope, whatever. In regards to the whole South Carolina and the flag situation, what I learned is that in actuality, when you get resistance from people that want to still, raise the flag or whatever like that, raise that particular flag, the Confederate flag, what's the one thing that they always say?
Heritage.
Pride.
Heritage, pride.
History.
Well, what I learned was, and I could be off by just maybe a couple of years, but from 1870 to 1920, I believe, that flag was not to be used. It was actually thrown away, not to be used by the state. And what happened was it was resurrected as opposition. It was the opposition's statement toward civil rights for black people. So there's a generation or two of people that can't really say, yeah, this is my heritage, when, there's a big gap in years that flag wasn't used, that flag wasn't around. But what was ironic was that, in Germany, you can't, the swastika is illegal. Well, in these particular rallies for the Nazis or whatever, when they have their rallies, of course they're not going to use the swastika, but they use the Confederate flag as their representation of the flag. So automatically, you can look at these examples, and that particular flag, just represents hate, evil, all other words that you can describe.
Check this, K-Dub.
Not good words.
Most folks don't realize.
And it represents a army that lost.
Okay, but guess this. K-Dub, I like the way you brought in the swastika piece for Germany, but see, most people don't realize that the swastika actually came from the Yin dynasty, which was in the 16th century Yin dynasty. That was built off of Shaolin. That wasn't built off of.
Yes, before it was before it was used by the Nazis, it was something like 180 degrees difference from what it was used as. Am I correct?
We can talk that history, but we can also talk about the history of how the N-word, in its original intent, was used in Africa, to signify kings, because it was a variation of the Spanish language, which was, of course, negro, meaning black. You know what I mean? So I think we need to look at how we fashion certain things in the present day before we say that it's okay to go in one way or the other. Now, one thing that I do want to introduce, Dub, stay on the line because I want you in on this one, Joe. Diva and Grizzy, I want y'all all to kind of comment on this one. We know that the governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, had gone and done a press conference today and said basically in part that while we, and I'm not saying me, Marcus J. in the show, I'm saying her, Nikki Haley, the governor of South Carolina. She's saying now, while we understand that there are some folks who love this flag, respect this flag, doesn't mean that they view this flag in a bigoted way. There are some that do. And because of that, we will no longer fly this flag from the state capitol. And Walmart, and I bring them up because they're a very large retail outlet here in our country, was the first to come out and say, you know what, this is the way y'all going, so we're going to take all Confederate flag stuff off our shelves, so Walmart will no longer be selling these things in their stores. Now, what I want to introduce, Dub, and I want you to participate in this one as well, so stay on the line. I got the 4 of y'all here. I found 8 facts about the Confederate flag that many of us may not have known. I got this from pbs.org. So you can go to pbs.org and you can research what I'm getting. There are 8 facts, and each of the 8 facts have descriptions. I'm not going to read the descriptions because of time constraints, but I will go ahead and read the 8 facts. After I read the 8 facts, then we're going to roundtable. Number 1, the Confederate battle flag was never the official flag of the Confederacy. Number 2, the flag is divisive, but most Americans may not care. 3, the flag began to take on a new significance in the 20th century. 4, the Supreme Court recently ruled that Texas could refuse to issue Confederate flag specialty license plates. 5, the NAACP has long led a boycott against South Carolina because of the battle flag on display at the Capitol. 6, the battle flag on South Carolina state grounds cannot be lowered. Now, I do want to read this one, so allow me. The American flag and South Carolina state flag were lowered in mourning for the victims of the church shooting. The Confederate flag on display at the State House was not, because it is affixed to the flagpole and cannot be lowered. It can only be removed. This is what the Washington Post reported. I call bullshit on that. 7, 5 southern states have legal protection for the flag, but California bans it. And 8, Mississippi is the only state whose flag still features the battle flag. Dub, you up first. Real quick, what's your thoughts on the facts, any of them or one of them that I just read?
Man, it makes no difference to me, to be honest with you.
Right.
Tell them how
you know what? I'm going to be real irrational. Man, I won't go there, but nah, man, those facts don't really mean that much to me. You know, it's a sign of, I bet you can't, nah, I won't even go there. But some of the other hate, I bet you if we had a damn ISIS flag or something like that, they'd be breaking their neck trying to. Oh, better yet, how about we put the the old school Black Panther up?
Yeah.
How about that?
You mean
how
like
about
you mean like
you
your
know what's
profile
real
picture?
odd is that people in this country get so much concern about, just like with Fox, they turn the shit into it may have been an attack against Christians or whatever, and people get bent out of shape over the shit that happens overseas, but don't give a damn about what happens to the people that live next door to them. No. You know what I'm saying? That's some real wild thinking. You know, I know an individual that right now, if you go to his Facebook page, he'd be talking about all types of stuff that ain't got nothing to do directly with him, and he's more concerned about stuff overseas, and could give a damn about his next door neighbor who's catching hell, walking the streets or whatever, or driving while black or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's sad in this country, man. So in regards to that flag, man, bring that shit down, man. You know what I'm saying? Enough people, and from what I understand, I think, now, you know what I'm going to say is that she got pressure behind doing that, because you remember, I think about a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, she made a statement saying, well, no big time businesses didn't do business with us because of the flag or what have you. So she really could give a damn. I'm quite sure that there was a lot of pressure that was put on her to make this particular decision.
I'm sure that that's the case, and be honest with you, Dub, nothing ever happens on a grand scale in this country because of morality or because it's the right thing to do. It's always because of some sort of pressure or some sort of money involved, and she realized that there was some potential boycott going on. I don't think that this was because black folk got mad and got in their feelings about seeing that Confederate flag. It's more to a tourism or something. Dub, final words. We got to let you go. Final words, man.
you go. I'm gonna let you go. But check this out, man. You know what I'm saying? When I was coming down here from Virginia, and you know, someone that lived in Tennessee told me, you know, watch yourself going 20 miles outside of the perimeter of Atlanta. And you know what? In the 2000s, 2015 or whatever, that shit is still prevalent. So I'm gonna tell you like this, and I'm gonna tell everybody in the ear of my voice. If in fact that particular flag comes down, yo, it's gonna be some mad people out here. So you know, hey, have your third eye open and your third ear listening. That's all I'm gonna say. Watch your back.
I can dig it. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. That's my brother K-Dub, our brother K-Dub. Much love to you and your fam, man. Good to talk to you.
All right, bro. Peace, man. Y'all be safe up there, y'all.
We talk. Right. We talk again soon. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. What I want to do, I want to go around the room and kind of get everybody's opinion on this Confederate flag issue. I mean, you know, I was going to say what I was going to say. I'm going to hold on to that because I'm going to go last. Diva, I want you up first. Confederate flag, we talking about it in South Carolina, but I want to have a discussion on it for a few minutes on its own. Confederate flag, what's your thoughts? Anything you want to say about it?
I mean, I get very negative thoughts about it. I get thoughts of, you know, the past lynchings and slavery and all that comes to mind whenever I see one. And I'm always leery in areas where I see it, you know, posted in front of somebody's house or something like that. So I don't have any positive thoughts or statements to make about the flag, and if it's coming down, I'm happy about that.
Our sister Michelle K is checking in. Michelle K is saying what's up
girl.
And whatnot. She's saying that she's glad they decided to take it down. Doesn't matter, racism is still alive and thrive. And it's so good to see you and Mama this weekend.
Yes, it was.
Michelle K, thank you so much. Big Bro Joe, we talking about a Confederate flag. What's your thoughts on it? Anything, any direction that you want to go with regards to it?
Well, first of all, I can sit here and I can say this, right? Damn that flag. And honestly, damn anybody who sits there and thinks that that's a piece of your heritage and history that you want to be proud of. I could care less. That's just how I feel. Now, I think, and I've lived in South Carolina. I've been down there. I've seen what they have. I've still seen, listen, some of the what they call the blue laws in where I used to live in.
Virginia got them.
No, not like in South Cac, son.
You can't sell liquor on a Sunday here.
You can't buy anything
Cigarettes?
but food before. Yeah, you can buy food, but you can't buy a pot to cook it in before 2 o'clock because you know why? It's the Bible Belt.
Oh yeah, they got Jesus on the
Oh
mind.
yeah, everybody's supposed to be in church.
Yeah, Jesus drank wine with his homies on Sunday. Stop tripping.
Twisted. Hey, oh, I'm gonna get some flack for that one. Yeah, Jesus got down.
I'll take that flag.
You take that? All right. But I'm saying, no, real talk, that Confederate flag means nothing to me. Yeah, I mean, I sit there and I know I go to Georgia because I have family down there too. And I look at some of them cats down there and they repping because they are brainwashed and mindless to the fact that what that flag actually meant for some people. Now, if you want to be truly and honest, our United States flag was kind of skeptical and shaky too. But, you know, because everybody doesn't know the history and the heritage behind what we got going on. That's more prevalent for us because as black folks, you know, we represent that with the Ku Klux Klan. We sit there and we put that with hatred. We put that with everything else. But to go back to the young man who sit there, he was sitting there holding this flag, waving it around like it was something special that he was
singing
doing.
Dixie.
Singing, in the land of Dixie, and the cotton and all that good stuff. Yo, I have my Black Panther flag, and I'm going to fly it proudly over my homestead and in my car.
There you go.
Anybody who feel like they can take it, come on, come get it.
My point, with the flag thing, yeah, the flag that's flying in South Carolina is the battle flag of Northern Virginia. It wasn't the flag of the Confederacy. It was the flag of Robert E. Lee's army. K-Dub spoke about it earlier. That's the army that was first surrendered. Like, this is what I don't understand in
Virginia.
Yeah, in Virginia.
At Appomattox.
At Appomattox. This is the thing I don't understand about relitigating history. For these folks, you lost. It wasn't even, and you lost in part to 350,000 colored troops.
That's in Charleston.
We pretty much saved the Union because they were in deep caca after Gettysburg, and Lincoln said, okay, go ahead and let these guys fight. You know, you lost. Now, I don't understand how you could lose. When I play poker and I lose a bet, they call it on tilt. I'm on tilt. I'm a little steamed. I'm heated. But if you beat me on a better hand, I have to nod my head and shake your hand at the end of the night as you take my money and say, you won. I'm not going to come back to you 3 months later, the next time we play poker, and remind you how you whooped my ass. You know, so the racism and the bigotry is so interwoven into white folk, into liberals as well. And somebody said this in the media, and I'm listening to the news. The silence that white people have against their own is in and of itself racist, is what and I'm paraphrasing some pundit said. But for them, like we're saying tonight, for white folks, whether it's white liberals, white conservatives, anybody, to not say something to your boss or to your coworker or to your neighbor who holds these racist and bigoted points of view, you in of itself are facilitating the racism. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. We're fighting extremist Islamists overseas, right? The first thing that the political structure of the United States say, especially Barack Obama, is, and when he pulled out Iraq, he said, this is not an American problem, this is a Middle East problem. The moderates in the Middle East should be holding them accountable. We're not going to come over there and fight that war for you, because that's a fight between Sunnis, Muslim, Sunni Muslim, Shiites, and y'all got to get y'all ish together so y'all can live peacefully, and we don't come over there and bomb the F out of you. So white folks, if you're listening to Ain't No Half Steppin' and you listen to the replay is played on when, Marcus?
Every day.
Every day.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. When you hear this conversation, I can make a plea to your heart, but your heart is your heart. If it's black, it's black. I mean, when I say black, I mean, if you don't have it in your heart, you're not a human, you don't have a humanistic feeling about this, and I'm not talking to you. You know, my point is that hold your people accountable. Go ahead, Mark. I'm sorry.
I just look at it like this, man. As far as this Confederate flag thing, you know, I view it as treason. You know what I mean?
Isn't
like
it?
It's treasonous, because the people who were touting the Confederate flag wanted to go against the United States. And so whenever I hear a person say that it's about their culture, it's about their heritage, you know, and they carry that flag, and then they carry the American flag, that tells me that you're mildly confused, because the Confederate flag was all about secession from the Union. So now all of a sudden you want to tout the flag that wanted to secede, then you want to tout the flag that was the country flag. There's some huge contradiction there. Every time I see it, I didn't grow up here. I didn't grow up with it. I grew up in New Jersey. I never saw the flag till I came here. I mean, I saw it, but I didn't really know what it was and what it meant till I came down here to Virginia. I grew up in Jersey City, New Jersey. And so I looked at it as a symbol of racist tactics and tendencies. That's how I view it then. That's how I view it now. If that is contradictory to how someone else views it, that's a you thing. It's not a me thing.
Thank you.
How I feel about it.
Thank you for telling me.
Because when I see that flag, that tells me that you feel some kind of way towards anybody who is opposed to that flag. And that flag was the South, and the South was about racism.
But Mr. Johnson,
and that South was about slavery. And that's how I feel about that. Real quick,
Mr. Johnson, my grandfather, my great-grandfather died on Bull Run for that flag, sir.
I don't care about that.
And you have to allow you have to allow me. You have to allow me to honor the dead.
You can honor the dead and do what you want. You can fly your flag from the back of your pickup truck.
He's dead, but he good. He fought hard.
You can fly it in your. You can do whatever you want, because America.
He fought hard for the South.
America is a country where you can do whatever you want. But you know what? Part of America being a country where you can do whatever you want is me feeling any way I want to feel about you doing whatever you want. So if I think you a damn fool for flying that damn flag, then I get to call you a damn fool for flying that damn flag.
Rest in peace,
Ain't
Grandpa.
no half stepping with Marcus J. Last thing I want to get to, and this is very brief. Diva, I want your opinion on this. Everybody get your opinion on this, and we're going to take a break. The President of the United States used the N-word in the last couple of days. People tripping off of it. The right wing is losing their damn mind. Racism, and this is his quote, racism, we are not cured of it, and it's not just a matter of it not being polite to say N-word in public. That's not the measure of whether racism still exists or not. It's not just a matter of overt discrimination. Societies don't overnight completely erase everything that happened 200, 300 years prior. The President of the United States used the N-word. People losing their damn mind about it. Dave, I don't know if you've heard about it, but as I've read that comment, what are your thoughts?
I was questioning whether it really happened or not. I just couldn't see President Obama doing that. But, I mean, I think if he did
married Michelle.
It was a reason for it. You know, I don't think that he used it just willy-nilly. He's a very educated, intelligent man. So I think he was making a point when he used it. But, yeah, I was shocked.
Hey, see, everybody, we had this discussion earlier just before we came on air live. And everybody, if you think that the way we're saying it is the way it came across, you need to go back and listen to the clip. It's a point blank, plain and simple. And I'm sure that Marcus J has it on the Legacy Internet Radio website, and you need to go in there and listen to what he said. And it's clearly it was clearly in context, and it wasn't like. And if you'll allow me just 1 second. No? Okay. Well, he didn't put it that way.
So you can't ask him. You got to sneak.
No. I ain't, no.
We're not saying it on the show.
All right,
we got you.
Respect. But he didn't say it like, what you hood cats would say it. He put it into perspective like in his conversation, and he made a specific point using the word. It wasn't put in the connotation that we want to sit there and believe it was in.
Yeah. No, I can dig it. Chris?
With this, I regret, but I'm being honest. We had Ain't No Half Steppin.
Don't say that word, man.
No, we're not. No.
Okay, I'll knock you out.
No. This is the last. He's out of office in when? 2017, January.
December 31st.
No, January
2017.
17, right? So this is what 15. So he's got like a year and a half left on his term. Best believe, folks who did not vote or did not like him or any of his policies are going to really act a fool these last 18 months while he's in office.
Well, they better act a fool and find this dude guilty of cuff and not quit playing with garbage.
Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy Internet Radio. And let me just say this real quick before we go to break. Anybody that knows me knows that I don't like slurs. I don't like that word. I don't like other words. I'll tell you a real quick story. Last Thursday, in my full-time job was I had a white guy. Many of us would view him as a rural type of white dude, and you can add whatever your phrase is for a rural type of white dude as you want. But as I'm meeting with him, he tells me that they had captured Dylan Roth. I was unaware at the time. He was the one that shared it with me. And he was very passionate about the fact that he and his family are absolutely 100% opposed to any kind of discrimination or racism. He made a point of telling me that while he knew that I knew folks who were bigots, he knew folks that were bigots as well. And he said, and I'm paraphrasing, people say the H word for white people, the N word for black people, and he said the words, and it startled me a little bit, especially when he said the N word. But his heart was pure when he said it to me, and he was sincere in his rhetoric with regards to how people are people first. And how you have to treat people how they treat you. And he felt that way. He felt strongly about, what he was saying to me. I felt that he was sincere in it. And so when I think about him and I think about how the president used the word in context. I hate the word, but the white dude that I was meeting with and the president of the United States both used the word in context. Right. And I understood where they were both going. And it's a little bit different than gratuitously saying, I hate N-words, yo, what's up, my N-word? It's different. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy and that radio. We
For the record, my N-word usage is down 50%.
Yeah, well, it needs to be down to 0. It needs to be down to 0. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. Live from the Dan Legacy and that radio. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to get the diva to do what she's here to do. The Diva Diaries is up, y'all, and we look forward to it. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. We at war, y'all, and we need to know our place in that war. We going to be at the top, or we going to lose this war? We're going to do it. Ain't No Half Step on Marcus J. Be back in a few.